call the meeting to order. We'll do a pledge and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence, please. I thank you. I'll do a roll call. Looks like we got 3 people here. There's not 5 here. Is it? No, there's just 3. Next thing will be to go over public comments from the public. Anybody have anything they want to say? That's hard to believe. Well, we'll have to lengthen the meeting somewhere else then. Next is administrative business.
Yesterday, I provided the board with a copy of the county attorney's proposed budget with amendments. You all have that in front of you. I did offer the county attorney the opportunity to come over this morning and present that. I do not see him here, so I would like to ask if the board would like to consider it without his presentation so that we can get the budget document put together and move forward.
What are your thoughts? Because you don't want to hear mine till last.
Well, I would like the county attorney here because I've marked up that document that you gave me, and excuse me, I have marked up the documents that you gave me on the narrative of the Leavenworth County Attorney, and I am interested in asking him some questions. His budget has gone up. The way I look at it, it has gone up $17,500, and some of it is one item is travel. Last year it was $3,000. This year it's going to be $7,500. I mean, it's not quite tripling it, but it's close. There's just others. I've got 6 items on this that I would like to ask him personally what's the idea of it, because we are stewards of the commission, and we are supposed to watch how things are spent, and once we give this money to the county attorney, he can spend it as he sees fit. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know how the other 2 feel.
Douglas?
I agree. I'd like to hear his budget and him to explain it, but at the end of the day, he is an elected official.
I know.
So
one of the options would be, and maybe, I think probably by the 17th we have to know, or we're going to start missing our deadlines to get our budget approved. So I guess I can put this on for the 17th, extend the offer one more time. If the county attorney can't make that or chooses not to, then the board could choose just to hold his budget at the current level, which is the 2018 level.
Well,
they could approve it as presented, or they could somewhere in between. So if that's what the board would like for me to do, I'll put it on the 17th as the final, and if he makes it at that time, great. If not, the board can decide what to do on that.
That's very good. You think I was going to buy that?
I don't know.
No, we had an indication about 3-4 years ago, and I hope anybody running for office understands this, that there were 2 elected officials that were telling us what they were going to do. And for some reason, the county commission at that time didn't hear that. I want to thank the 3 ladies here in the courthouse They do very good. But the county attorney was the first one that indicated that he was going to run his own business. The sheriff was the next one. I want to run my own business. I'm not going to listen to anybody. People out there in the audience and out in the world, they don't know that we don't run the elected officials. They do whatever they want, as long as we approve their budget. I would like to do one of the things I mentioned before, but that was with the sheriff. And that's to pull, we keep his whole budget over here. We monitor it over here. If he cannot show the respect to the county commission, then I think he has a problem. And hopefully the people in November of whatever election or prior to that understand that officials stay too long. They make a job of it. And if you think that's great for the community, then you all have a problem. I don't want to give him that extra time. You've been very polite to him. He has totally told us what to do and where to do it. And I don't like that. So,
Well, we could go through the budget today on the county attorney.
we can go through the budget if that's your desire. I just soon keep his budget right over here, put it under, what is it, CIP, or what the heck it is, or ASOB, or AAIP, or I don't care what it is.
I think you're referring to courthouse general.
Courthouse general,
I do
thank you
think-
very much.
I think statutorily that we are required to fund the county attorney's office.
Right,
So I think
we
we'd be
are.
careful
Well, give him
about-
$1.
I think
Well, that's not
adequately
funding
funded,
it.
so.
Well, where do you handle this disrespect? You know, this is a glorious day. We got a new appointed, not elected yet, but something way more important than that. I have 6 months minus 1 day. I leave, and that's a great day. A lot of people will really be happy because they're going to come in and they're going to straighten up the courthouse and how it runs and do whatever. Maybe they will. But we'll see if it doesn't fall back into the old, and what somebody once mentioned, micromanagement. We're not trying to micromanage. We're trying to say, we set policy. If we can't come up with a department head that can't run our policy, then let's get rid of them. We set budget. But we can't set the budget because we have somebody who's saying, we don't have to answer to you. You're nobody. Now, I saw where he was asking for 2% pay increase. Didn't they already get a pay increase significantly?
Well,
The non-workers, the lawyers.
the proposed budget includes the step plan that's part of our pay plan and the cost of living adjustment that the.
But that's not in everybody's budget.
That is in everybody's budget.
I thought we were proposing to do that at the end if we had the money.
That's included in this budget as presented.
Okay, that's presented, but
The increases that you're referring to last year, the county attorney did make adjustments to his legal staff, the attorneys.
Mark, talking lay terms, make adjustments.
They did a pay increase.
Thank you.
For the attorneys on staff. The other employees just got the same pay increase that the general staff members of the county got.
The other employees did
Yes,
in his department?
yes,
Did everybody in the courthouse?
yes,
Got the 2%?
yes. Got the pay plan administered.
That isn't the pay I'm referring to. Didn't they get another pay increase?
They received an additional pay.
Thank you.
increase.
There you go.
The county, the attorneys
Yeah,
on
they
staff.
received additional money. Same way as the sheriff's department. They do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. So if you want to go through the budget, that's fine with me. It'd be good for those. I see a lot of people that are thinking about running. So I think that would be good for them to have to go through what we're supposed to be doing. And
Typically, Mr. Chairman, don't we do budgets in a work session on a separate day than the meeting day? I mean, I'm willing to come in on another day.
I'm not willing to come on another
Okay.
day. I like to see people sit and see what we're going
All
through.
right. Okay, just, budget's pretty important.
Yeah, the budget's pretty important. it'd probably take us 2 hours to get through. You want to do it at the end of the meeting? So they can
Yeah,
listen?
maybe if you do it at the end of the meeting, maybe the county attorney could show up. Would that be fair?
I don't see him in there. Where's he at?
Well, if we don't get going, we won't get to the end of the meeting.
Yeah,
So
well,
I would say do it at the end of the meeting if it's okay
that's
with
just a suggestion. I came up with it. Do you want to do it
That's
at
a good
the end? Is that
suggestion.
all right with you, Bob? There you go.
and maybe,
Let's get on down the road. What's the next thing that's on your mind?
That was it for administrative business.
Well, since we've moved this around, let's, there's something that came up last meeting. It was very disturbing. So I'm going to throw out something, and we're going to discuss next meeting the sheriff's proposal that was debaser. And it has to do with sort of what I'm thinking about. It bothers me. I spent a lot of time on the roads this weekend and towards the end of the week, looking at all the roads we're doing for the county. We're doing this with county money. We're not doing it with city's money. The city will say, well, we do the sales tax and all this and that, but we didn't draw up the formula. There's a formula where we get a certain amount of money and the cities get a certain amount of money. And I just asked the clerk to come up with a new program of theoretically what we're going to get. I think it was originally 97 million theoretically. City of Leavenworth gets 50 million. Lansing gets 30 million. City of Leavenworth, not City of Leavenworth, Tonganoxie, Baser gets 20 million. Tonganoxie gets 15 million. And we've already given the city of Leavenworth $5 million. Plus we're giving them $7.5 million, so that comes to $12.5 million for Eisenhower and Industrial Park. Now we gave to Lansing a significant amount of money. We gave them $7.5 million for Eisenhower. Half the money goes Leavenworth, half goes to Eisenhower, to Lansing. And we gave them close to $6 million for McIntyre. They got more than Leavenworth. And they're not getting their fair share. Now, I want our staff to significantly go through all documents, because I'm tired of the BS of who brought up the proposal for Eisenhower, McIntyre, and 147th Street. They seem to want to blame somebody for having done that.
I can answer 147th Street. It was promised on the 2006 sales tax. It
Very
was
good.
never done.
You've answered that one. Where did Eisenhower come from? And where did McIntyre Road? If we can't find an answer to that, I keep hearing it was one person. And I'm getting fed up with hearing it's one person. That one person that I keep hearing has never run for office, never been elected to where he can do something for himself. If somebody is doing it for him, then that is bad. That individual cannot vote in any money for himself, any project for himself. He has never served. I used to hear that about a great friend of mine, and I loved him dearly, Mac Greenemar. Well, Mac Greenemar gets this, and Mac Greenemar gets that. Here we are. Hi, Todd. It's nice to see you.
Did you guys need me?
Yeah, it's nice that you came over, but I'm in a dissertation, and when I get through rolling, we're going to handle you at the end of the meeting now.
Okay, then I'm going to go back over and get back to work, and will you let me know when you're done?
Is that all right with you, Administrator and Board? Very good. Thank you very
I
much.
asked Mr. Lowry this morning what time I needed to come over. I didn't
And he
get a
said he sent you the
response.
message back.
I have not received that, so.
Well, you know, if I had anything to do with it, hello, Aunt Mary, do you know where Ma Jones is? See, we've gotten so, see this thing here? That's a 10 now, and it surpasses me. My daughter got it for me. Thank you, Jennifer. But we can't keep up with all our messages. I see employees walking around.
I trust you, Louis. I'll be over when you need me.
Thank you. Thank God. Can we get that in the paper? That I'm trusted by somebody? I like that.
Fake news.
That's good, Doug. I like it. But I want that found so we can quit accusing non-elected people of doing things for themselves. I think that's very rude. If you're jealous of somebody for having something, then you need to straighten your life out. I'm jealous of no one except maybe Joe Herring. I've earned everything I've gotten. I came from the wrong side of the creek. And my dissertation couldn't add up to all your miseries put together. But it'd be close. The last thing was where I was partially going with this. Doug went to a meeting. And the meeting was at Baser. And it's in the agenda, part of the agenda, that they were willing to share with us doing a road in Baser,
In the county.
in the county. It's Baser. We can say in the county, but it's for Baser because the Baser
Well,
Commission sort of approved it.
is it in the city limits or is
No.
it out in the
Oh, it's in
county?
the outside.
It's
but
in the
Baser-
county, but it's in their 3-mile
It's in their 3
jurisdiction.
mile,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I just want to
Yeah.
clarify that.
It's
No, it's a
it's
county road.
interesting because as I drove down that road twice this weekend, and that was once after I'd gone to Kelly's and had a BLT. That usually settles me down a little bit.
Did you eat one this morning?
Yeah, I counted they put a lot of bacon on. I counted the houses on that road. Now it's supposedly the mayor and the city council are in favor of it, but I'm not in favor of it. And I'm going to give maybe a case here. Lansing came to me, this is all not real, and said, can you help us with 147th Street? Give us a couple million? Yeah. And Leavenworth came to me and said, can you help us with running the road from 10th over to, what is it? Not New Leavenworth Road, but the new Tonganoxie Road. And they need a couple million. So, oh yeah, that's all right. City of Leavenworth's got 50 million. Why don't you run your own road? But that was just a theory. County funds are for the county. We're trying to, and we are doing very good on doing roads. The county has to take care of its money. City wants to take care of it, all the cities. But quit asking us for more money. We gave Tonganoxie $5 million. And when we gave those two $5 millions, we should never have given them to, just said, here they are. Maybe we should have looked into it more professionally and said, well, let's get some bids in on this. But anything that has been done by an elected official. There's no private individual, I don't care who he is, that can do anything on his own unless somebody's doing it for him. So, Okay, anything else on administrative business? Anybody have anything on the approval of the minutes?
No, sir.
Anything, Bob?
No.
I do. That brings up another thought. Hollingsworth. It's just right around the corner. Let's just add Hollingsworth to a program. Everything should be bid. Don't add something to it. I don't know what the Hollingsworth program is, what, 300 and some thousand dollars? No, what was it? Yeah, 300 and some thousand dollars.
Typically, it was bid on the 147th project, and it was a unit price, wouldn't it be? It was just an addition to the unit price for the asphalt.
But maybe somebody else would have beat the unit price. You know, we've got to get all of our equipment there. What kind of deal is that? I don't remember Julius Cause having that in his bids.
Okay. I guess,
And most of you don't know Julius Cause. So, you know, we got location to get equipment there, 300 and some thousand dollars or 200 and some thousand dollars. I think it's, we've got to get down to where we're doing things that we should be doing. There was one thing in here I want to comment. A motion was made by Commissioner Holland. It was a good motion. Seconded by Klemp. I don't know if that was good. To do 155th Street. You know why I wanted to do 155th Street? Anybody know?
it's in your district?
Hell no.
Oh.
I don't want any votes. I have
Well,
no...
I also wanted to do 155th
Yeah,
Street.
that's why I said it was a good motion.
Right.
Didn't have anything to do with votes, I'll guarantee you that. I don't do anything for votes. The only reason I wanted to possibly run is to see how many votes I wouldn't get. That's the interesting part of life. But that's a vision. Well, are we going to help 147th Street when they're doing their construction? Or are we going to help 4th Street? Some people may want to be able to get by that. So 155th is the next best north-south road. So that's all I have on that. Next is,
I believe that road's done, isn't it?
I don't think it's
They
been,
got to, part of it is.
Yeah.
They've got to do the continuation, what
Yeah.
we approved last week.
yeah. But it's basically
It's
been,
getting
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than a lot of roads, let's put it
Right.
that way.
so I think we did a good thing there for the taxpayers. I won't hit on what we've spent. We knocked it down from $1 million, we're down to $693,000 for the pay period.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I really felt upset about that, except the law fees are coming up.
Oh, yeah, I got you on
Got that in
that.
there? Good. Check register is gone, and approval would do OCB, so I'll accept a consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I'll go along with that. How do you vote, Douglas?
Aye.
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 Okay, anything else, Mr. Administrator?
Not on that.
Okay,
Don't we have,
was that on the agenda, or is that on the next
some of these are
Bills?
individuals that we have to approve.
formal board action? That's the next item. You want to do that one, or we want to skip
Well,
that?
These bills are all in the packet, aren't they?
Yeah, any of the bills that are on the check register are approved as part of the check register when you approve it. They don't take a separate motion. So that was the question. But yeah, we're ready for formal board action items.
Okay. I don't think there's anybody here to hear this formal board action. Why don't we just put that after the county attorney? Okay, formal board action. We're going to do a resolution authorizing a vote to change the number of commission districts from 3 to 5. I don't think we need to read that, do we? Do we
No,
need
you
to
don't
read it?
have to read it. 10 days ago, a committee brought in over 3,000 signatures for the authorization of the vote to change the number of commission districts from 3 to 5. There was 5% required of the registered voters in Leavenworth County, which was 2,153 signatures. The committee did obtain the correct number of signatures, and so now it's up to the board to pass a resolution authorizing me to put the question on the November ballot, November of 2018.
Okay.
Once this resolution is signed and passed, then we publish this 3 times in the newspaper, and it will be on the November ballot.
That's when the crow, or when they crows out loud and turn around, turn to salt, right? Okay.
Before we move on, Mr. Chairman, I might make a comment about somebody was quoted in the newspaper, and I know John doesn't misquote people. I've never seen him do that. About much of the growth occurring in the southern portion of the county. This person feels the area is not well represented on the county commission. Currently, the southern half of Leavenworth County, which includes Bayshore, Tonganoxie, is represented by 1 commissioner. That would be me.
Right.
Now, what am I not representing my people about, especially when it's from somebody that doesn't even live in my district?
I agree.
I mean, Bayshore, look at all the stuff we've done for Bayshore and Tonganoxie. You just mentioned it. And this lady has the nerve to tell me I'm not representing my people?
I do.
Do you?
Yes.
And could you give me some examples?
Yes. What I see happening is that
Could you come to the podium, please, and state your name? Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right.
My name is Jeanette Labby Holdeman, and I did write that in the newspaper. I believe the south side of the county, which really should include Lansing also, which is not your
But
district.
it doesn't.
Oh, Lansing's not the south side of the county?
It is not.
Well, then I stand corrected, because I have lived here 45 years, and I've always told people that I live on the south side of Leavenworth County. So besides that,
There's a map in there that'll show you.
I don't know. I know because I went to the Tyson and Tonganoxie thing that you were present at most of those meetings.
I was present at all of them meetings.
Yes, and I was there too, and I will vouch that you were there. I do know that you did not say anything to anyone about your concerns on that. So that is just one issue.
Is there a Tyson plant in Tonganoxie?
Yes, but it's not thanks to you, sir.
Oh, it isn't?
No, I do believe that the people of Tonganoxie did
Who
amazing-
stopped it then? Who stopped it? Whose vote stopped it?
The people in Tonganoxie.
They didn't have a vote in it. Whose vote stopped it? Whose vote?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't.
You don't know, do you?
Well, you didn't make it very public, and we haven't read anything about it. If you were the one.
Clyde Graber and myself voted.
Yes, after all the pressure was put on, because prior to that, you had given the
Did
county administrator
Tyson
authorization
purchase
to
any
sign
property in
off on your
Tongi?
behalf.
Did Tyson purchase any property in Tongi?
Let her finish, Doug.
I'm sorry, I can tell that Mr. Smith is really put out by this. I would ask you, Mr. Smith, how many council meetings do you attend in Tonganoxie and Bayshore on a monthly basis?
There's a council member right there asking.
On average, every other one.
Every other one. All right, wonderful. Then you're doing a great job, but I still think.
Ask me about Linwood. I do the same thing for the city of
I
Linwood.
believe.
Gave him
that the
60
growth
to
in the
$90,000.
South Park needs more representation than just you yourself. And that's why I said that, and I stand by what I said. The south side of the county is growing exponentially and needs much more representation than just one person. Thank you, sir.
So what you're asking for is me to convince
Wait a minute.
2 people instead of 3.
What are they not getting, Jeanette? That's what I'm wondering.
What are they not getting in representation?
Yeah.
Well, it's just because everything is growing. You need more people to sit here. You guys can't pass in the hallway with a cup of coffee and say, "Can I ask you something about so-and-so?" You can't do that. It's a
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. I just appreciate the fact that I don't have to converse with them on anything.
Well, I believe you, my friend Louis. I believe you.
Until I get here. Don't be that way,
I
Jeanette.
agree.
We've been friends for years.
We have.
And
I agree.
thank you very much. That's all it takes is, and it was the same thing with Howard Vining and Henry Foth back in 1978, and George, and name them all. We never got together and said, well, I need some help on this vote. Never.
No,
Because
I'm not-
we couldn't do it. And at 5, they can do it, and at 7, they can do it, and at 9, and up in Wisconsin, where there's 35 and 27, they can do it. But I wouldn't be able to keep track of how many I've talked to know when I've gone. Did you want to say something about, and thank you for your input.
I did want to say something, and this is not to criticize you, but it is to stand up when the Tonganoxie Industrial Park was given money to develop it. I was one of the ones that led the charge to get them the money for the Tonganoxie Industrial Park. We all 3 commissioners, we don't just look at our district and say, oh, I'm going to do it for this. We all 3 get behind a project if we think it's good for that area. And then we thought the industrial park down there was shown 19 different times to businesses. The 19 different times, every one of them come away and they said, why aren't you interested? Because it's not developed. So I said, well, then we need to, when Nathan McCommon was here, and he was the city administrator, we got together and talked, and I said, we need to get the funding for Tonganoxie so that they can start selling lots down there in the industrial park, good-sized lots. And I said, all 3 of the commissioners got behind this and passed it. So it's not just Mr. Smith that's working down there, but it's all of us. This county, we're county commissioners. We're not just Tonganoxie-Baser commissioners or Easton commissioner like I am, or Leavenworth. But, so we do work together. If we don't like the project or don't think it's good, then that's when we come in difference. And I vote no several times, and I'm sure the other 2 have. So.
Well, I'm sure you remember, Mr. Holland, because I've been here several times on this issue.
Yes.
That we did market research on this before we even started anything. And we went to the county fair, we were outside Dillon's, we were down at the farmer's market, asking people if they would support additional commissioners. And 89% of the people said they would support additional commissioners. They felt that we were growing enough to be able to support more representation.
Yeah.
There was only one that you came to that probably said no. And that was me.
Well, you said no, yes, you did say no, but I also had people, about 8% of the people, some people had no opinion, but I'd say 8% of them said that this is a quote, please.
Right.
They said, we've already got 3 bozos, why would we need 5?
Yeah.
And people said that to me, and others that were doing the market
I have
research.
friends that say that about me.
Oh, do
You know,
you
Jen?
really?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Lou.
I only got one friend
Oh,
anyway.
right.
But
Right. Thank you.
see this here? You know what this is?
Hold up.
Long before your time. What does this say? And I'll be able to get rid of it this time. County administrator and 5 county commissioners. That's what that says. That's a long time ago. Pay 5 county commissioners. Now Doug wants to go to more time. I spend enough time as it is.
But according to her, I don't represent my people, so I probably ought to cut that
Well, I
time
didn't want to
down.
bring that up. But
There's a newspaper article, read it.
But she didn't say you were doing it
No, I didn't.
Said the southern part of the county deserves more representation.
Well, why would you need more representation when you got somebody that's representing them?
See, that's what the system can't figure out. Nobody has come to us and said, well, you're not doing this for us. Now, somebody has come, and that's why I ask. McIntyre should never have been done. And you got some, you have some city council members out there that say, 147th should have been done. You're endangering people out there, the kids and everybody else that's on 147th. That's where the high school. No, it all adds into this.
Well, the question is.
I understand that, but you're saying.
Let me just say, the question is.
Ma'am, I didn't call your name. I didn't ask you to come forward. I will if you raise your hand.
I did raise my hand.
But I didn't say, ma'am, would you please come forward?
So I have to be seated?
You have to be recognized.
We're recognized.
I didn't say to be seated. You can do anything you want. So the point is, nobody ever comes to us and says, well, we're not getting this and that. What are you not doing? Now, whether the 5 passes or not, I could give a rat's, I could care less. I'm thinking about raising the salary of the county commissioners, though. I think they need more money. This is not, and how many of the people running for county commissioner are doing it for money?
Haven't surveyed them.
No, but they're, some of them are doing it for money. Some of them are doing it to fill time and space, and they think they have an input, and a common sense input. Because I think that's what Brett's mother said, the new Supreme Court Justice, said use common sense, not just what's in it for me. We're not getting our share. There's no shares. There's no shares at all. So if you're done, Jeanette, we'll have this lady come up and
Thank you.
to run a petition.
It's not easy.
It is not easy. So thank you for your time. If you identify yourself and
My name is Rita Swan, and this is my first county commission meeting, and I am disheartened by the animosity that I hear here. And all I want to say is, we can't take everything personally. Mr. Smith, I think you do a fine job. The voters have, we have gotten enough signatures. We've met the requirement and then some. The question is just to put on the ballot. So, it's a yes or no question on the ballot. It's not a referendum on you personally. It's a question on the ballot. Can you allow us to proceed and just have a question on the ballot? That's kind of what I thought democracy was.
well,
It can be a
Absolutely.
yes or no.
I appreciate. The world has changed. This is your first meeting, and you don't like the way the meeting's run.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I said I didn't
You
like
did.
the animosity.
I'm sweet 16 and 64 years of common sense knowledge and having gone through the system. Having gone through the system to know that the system doesn't work if it's all love, peace, and this and
I
that.
didn't say
There will
that.
always be another Hitler. There will always be another
Sir,
Mussolini.
I am done speaking. And
There you go.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your very nice input of how sweet and gentle we should be about life. Life is not sweet and gentle.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion on this
Yes, I'm ready
resolution?
for a motion.
Becky, what resolution number would that be? 15.
15.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to authorize a resolution for a vote to change the number of county commission districts from 3 to 5, and like approval of Resolution 2018-15.
Second.
How do you vote, Doug?
Aye.
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 There you go. Now we can all go back to La La Land. I brought this for a reason. Taxpayers, beware of what you're going to ask for. Yep. And you'll get a vote. And the county will get temporarily screwed, in plain language, because we have people now running that want to represent the cities. And this is a county. City is there, and on south, and we got one up in Easton, and we got one down in Linwood, Tonganoxie, Baser. That is what they should be taking care of, and we take care of them whenever we can, financially. It's not about just spending money, it's how you spend the money.
Mr. Chairman, while we're on this subject, I was wondering if it'd be possible that we could authorize Buildings and Grounds to get a cost estimate, what it's going to cost to add a couple of offices, just so we know.
Couple offices, a new, I guess.
We can all fit up here.
Yeah, we can get up here, as long as we all bathe.
But, you know, just so we kind of know and then.
Well, it's got to pass.
Right, but we need to have a plan. This is just a
Right. I know,
strategic plan
but
to have,
It's,
you know,
it's
and then if our budget next year will handle everything, or if we're gonna have to amend the budget to do this. Because we're budgeting right now for 3 commissioners,
Boom.
and we have a reduction of a $250,000. But I'm just saying, we gotta have a plan if this passes. Is that a consensus that we do?
Oh, yes,
I mean,
yeah. We need to see what's going to
Just
cost.
Buildings and Grounds to get us a price and a plan.
Yeah.
To add 2 more offices.
And I think the space is there, but we have another very important operation that goes over
Right,
there.
we
but-
just got it, and there may be able to do one here and one there, maybe.
Yeah,
Just have them look at it and give us some options and prices.
very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I guess before we finalize the budget, we do need to have that discussion of how that would impact the 2019 budget.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I would recommend any amendment to the budget for something that may or may not happen. If the referendum is, the resolution obviously puts it on the ballot. If the ballot is approved, voted in, then we can amend the budget as necessary, but I wouldn't.
We're not going to amend it into the $250,000.
I just don't want to do like the state and have a retroactive tax increase back to
Well,
January 1.
Yeah, unlike the state, we can't do that.
I know.
So, but, yeah, I don't, I prefer to not budget for things we're not
Right,
sure are going to happen.
right, but we still got to have a
I
way
think
to
we-
pay for it.
And I think I don't think that will be an issue.
well,
Okay.
I'd still like to return that $250,000.
That's still.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Because
After the budget is
we
approved,
did
that is
promise the
locked in.
voters we would return that $250,000
We
back
will,
to
we
the
will
general
lower,
fund.
I'm sure we will lower it $250,000 unless Mr. Thompson comes back with something.
We will, as presented, we have reduced it $250,000, and that will not change
Okay,
after the budget's approved.
because we did promise that.
Okay.
Let's see, where'd that come from? Promise made, promise kept.
Willie
Well,
Dove
Who
slogan.
said that?
Willie Dove.
No, I think it was,
It's on his signs.
that was Donald.
Oh,
God bless his heart.
okay.
Thank you for coming, Jeanette, and thank you for bringing your guard dog. Okay, the next item was outside agency funding requests. Or do you have something else?
It's actually the policy. I brought it 2 weeks ago. We discussed it. I brought it last week. You asked to put it on the agenda. This is a policy addressing how we will handle outside agency requests. I just wanted your feedback, and if you support it, to go ahead and approve it so that going forward, this is be the proper way for the outside
Yeah,
agencies.
it said something about priority will be given to those that have already,
Those that submit their requests during the budget process.
yeah. Are we talking about next year's process or this year's?
Just talking about the 2019 budget process.
Okay. So we have several that have requested, first of all, you want the policy approved.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay? I don't have any problems with it, do you?
No. Would you like a motion?
Yeah, I'd like a motion.
All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the policy change in the policy manual for the outside agency funding request to be effective 8/1 of 2018.
Second.
Any discussion? How do you vote, Bob?
Aye.
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 Very good. I think the clerk's leaving. Okay. So how do we handle the requests that we have?
The requests that have been presented already are
Okay.
included in the budget, with the exception of the full request from the Linwood
Yes.
Community Building. We have identified the 90,000 that the board asked us to do, to try to come up with. We have identified that, so we have earmarked that for them. Obviously, they will still have to get the letter of support from Linwood and bring that back, but that is in the budget at this time. We've put that in there. We still have the $250,000 reduction. And then the other entities that have made their presentations to you, we have funded as you have directed us.
Okay.
Pretty good. 90,000.
Well, 90's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
What do
By
we-
gosh, we get more representation down there, it'll turn into 180.
Love it. And what are we going to do for Easton?
Easton's got needs. They need
Oh,
to come
that's-
here.
Bring them in here.
Yeah,
Like Bob said, we support the whole county.
that's
We
right.
don't-
We do.
We represent districts, but by the end of the day, we support the whole county.
Your title is not, you're a county commissioner.
County,
County.
not a third of the county commission.
Right.
Okay. What else was there on your thought process there?
For that particular item, that was it. I brought the policy forward as directed by the board. We've approved that now. That's how, going forward, that's how we'll handle all these. The requests that are in the budget are, we've included, and then obviously the board has some funding still set aside for other requests that come outside the normal budget process, and those will be handled as per the policy.
Okay, the next should be the presentation discussion items. And A is building code discussion.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Jeff.
I hope you had a chance to read the report. Basically, the county currently, we issue building permits for structures that are over 100 square feet, and we only look at the setbacks and not the structures itself. So what we are proposing is adopt some minimum standards for the construction of homes, new homes in the county. We have had some complaints from citizens regarding their houses not being built to minimum standards. We receive phone calls on a weekly basis that they move into a new home and, most of the things are not working. Also, the adjacent counties, including Douglas, Wyandotte, and Johnson counties, they have adopted building codes. Majority of the cities within Leavenworth County, like Leavenworth, Lansing, Tonganoxie, and Basel, they have building codes. I did meet with IBTS. IBTS is a nonprofit organization. They partner with Mid-America Regional Council to offer services to jurisdictions. And what they do is they review plans and also they do inspections. So they have a fee schedule. So what the proposal is that we collect the application and the fees from citizens, and then we give that money to IBTS for inspections and plan reviews.
So what's being presented today is to the board and asking if you're for your support is to just start the process of implementation of building codes within the county. And what I mean by that is we would start by presenting it through the Planning and Zoning Commission, establishing some committees of trade professionals to review it. And a lot of the trade professionals have asked us to consider doing this too, because it puts this is not approving today, not approving building codes or any fees or anything like that. This is just simply the discussion starts. And we're asking to make sure that the board is okay with us doing that, to form some committees to look into what version of the codes, what amendments to the codes may need to be made for Leavenworth County specifically, to talk to the Planning and Zoning Commission, to have some public hearings at that area with this. And then as we're discussing it, this does not include any additional staff for the county or an additional cost. Any cost associated with this would be handled via the fees that are charged for the inspection services. And we would, as proposed, it would contract out to this IBTS that Jeff is referring to do the inspections for us. They have professional staff. That way we're not looking at adding permanent staff to our already the staff he already has.
Okay, you've moved around your seat.
That's right.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Well, both of you talk at the same time.
Bob, go ahead.
I'm concerned about us going this direction, and there's so many rules and regulations in the cities because they've got many houses where out in the county, my closest neighbor may be a half a mile away, and but yet I can't replace my back door without getting a permit. That's what happens in cities, and you can't paint your house unless you get a permit. You can't roof your house unless you get a permit.
Water heater. Water heater.
Water heater.
Yeah, don't leave
I
that
replaced my own water heater.
Yeah.
I have to get a permit now. I think we're heading down a slippery slope here. And I say to the people that have concerns, maybe they need to check their person that's building their house, the company that's building their house, get references, do a little homework on their own, instead of just hiring whoever the cheapest is. We found that out here at the county. The cheapest isn't always the best.
I think that as some of the items that you brought up would obviously not actually require a permit. Painting your home does not require a permit.
Not yet.
Replacing a door on your own does not require a permit. And a lot of the work you do on your own doesn't require permitting if it's the homeowner. What this is really for is when you're constructing a new home,
But
you have
this is
you have
just the
the
start.
ability.
Go down the
most
slip.
people don't have the skill set to go out and do their own inspections on their home. And a lot of the homeowners that come in later assume that we already have these codes to protect them. These are things to protect the average citizen. And it's not just the person building the home. You build your home and then you sell it 5 years from now. Somebody comes in, they buy your house, and they find out later that the wiring was not done appropriately, and it's an issue they have to deal with. Now, that can come up, but these are, as the county is growing, if you look at the building permits and what was put out by the appraiser, half of the homes being built in the county are being built outside the city limits, half of them. So there's 250 inside the city limits, 250 outside the city limits. And the homes being built outside the city limits are typically higher value than the ones in the city limits. So
Nice houses.
you have, instead of a $220,000 average, which is what's being built inside the city limits if you combine all cities, you have like a $285,000 average outside the city limits. So they're big homes being built. They're not being held to the same code. They don't have inspections done like the ones in the city. And some builders who are, it's about the bottom line. They're in business now in the county that they wouldn't have to do in the cities to cut corners and then sell a home and make more profit on it. So this is more to protect the citizens that live outside the county, city limits, excuse me, than it is to penalize anybody. And I understand your concern about things you do now you would have to come and get a permit for. There are some things that might impact, but it's the bigger thing that we're looking at here is these new homes that are being built in the county, and people have an assumption of inspections, and they're not being inspected.
Todd, as soon as we get done with this, we'll get to your budget, okay? So I want to not think you were going to be kept waiting too long. Go ahead, Doug.
Partially agree with Commissioner Hall, and I'd sure hate to see him build a new chicken house and have to wait for somebody to inspect it before he could occupy it with chickens.
I built a chicken house, and I didn't, I
Ooh,
just built it, put
he's
it out there.
confessing.
But it's on skids, so it's,
Okay, but I guess who would choose these people who are going to sit on this panel to study it? Is it going to be something that each commissioner can choose a builder from their district, or?
You can. It's basically all the tradespeople, like the plumbers, electricians,
Right.
and architects, engineers. So we're looking for some professional people to give us some guidance.
They're interested in their business, aren't they? Yeah, they got a conflict. So go ahead. Anything else, Doug?
No, I just wanted to know if we would have a say in who's on this panel.
Yep.
I'd like to have a say.
I would too.
Very important if we can get anybody to volunteer to be on it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get somebody to volunteer.
The
I'm sure
questions I
former
have.
Commissioner Roque will volunteer,
Yeah, well, that could be.
or I just volunteered him.
Yeah. There was a special on electric houses. I thought that was amazing.
Can I just, one more thing?
Yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Mr. Chairman, I forgot to mention this when Mr. Lawfrey was talking about inspections, but typically when you purchase a home, doesn't somebody come and inspect it?
Well, you're getting a loan, I would think somebody'd be there.
Well, there's a big difference in inspecting as the home is being built, like somebody coming in and checking the electrical before the sheetrock gets put up and the heating and stuff, versus having a building inspector come out and look in the attic, make sure that, there's no obvious.
A professional inspector. They got them out there.
So there's a huge difference in the quality or the type of inspection that's being done.
Yeah, once
Well, I
it's
think-
done, you can only
There's
look
also
outside.
Right, and there's also a review of the building plans before the house ever started to make sure that it meets our guidelines.
Okay, well, that's all good stuff to be brought up
Right.
in the committee. So I would just like a say in who's on the committee from my area.
Are you through?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Electric houses is very interesting. People don't clear off their, anything that's automatic. When you leave, you should clear it off. Because somebody moving in can utilize your telephones, can utilize this, that, and everything. I thought it was interesting. Codes, are ours going to agree with the cities? You don't have to answer that. Grinder pumps. Anybody know right off the top of their head how many grinder pumps have been replaced out west of Lansing's Park? Well, it was interesting.
Not off the top of my head.
It'd be in the sewer district, one records.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had
it would,
one of the
considered sewer district one.
yeah, one of the owners out there said that he was aware, but he had had a neighbor contact him that wasn't aware that they were on a grinder pump. And they had been pumping things down through the grinder pump that aren't supposed to go through grinder pumps. So you have these $285,000 homes being built out there and people moving out. They needed to start with a two-holer, then they would know what the process is. You know who should have this? Not cities and counties. Banks or insurance companies. That's who should be responsible. Oh no, let's have the county start up a business. And we're going to put in codes that probably won't match when the city moves out there. I've thought of that for years. That was the first thing I wrote down. Banks and insurance companies really have the liability. Average person out there saying, I don't know.
So you think the lending institution should provide a building inspector?
They're the ones loaning the money.
And provide the occupancy permit?
She's goddamn right. If I was loaning you the money, or the insurance company.
Right.
You gotta have insurance.
I don't know how that would work. We'd still have to adopt codes that
Right.
they would enforce in our county
Oh,
for that
no,
to be done.
no.
The bank would has to
Well,
enforce it.
They would go out
before
and then
they-
inspect and say, no, we're not gonna approve this. Look what you did here with electrical. They can have somebody on staff that is qualified to approve their loans. I mean, why do we always shove it off on the county or the city or the state or the federal government? Somewhere you gotta be able to take care of yourself. Our job is policy and budget, and I really don't care. When the cities get out there, they can do their annexation and throw in their codes, and I think that would be good. I don't want to see the county get into it. Personal opinion, so we either have a consensus to or consensus not.
I'm not for it.
I'm not for it.
Well, I wouldn't mind looking at it, but, you know, Mr. Joseph wants to put together a committee of local tradespeople, it'd be fine with me, but not saying we approve it.
I don't want to waste their energy
Right.
and me still say, I'm not in favor of it.
Okay?
So,
Not a consensus.
very good. Let's get on to our somewhere, where did I put that? Get on to the county attorney. Well, I guess I'll just have to shoot off the hip.
You need something.
I don't know where that, oh, here it is.
I heard you were shooting off the hip earlier.
Well, you know, that's what
I did see Mr. Lowry's email.
That's what I came into the world for, you know? To try to leave the world better than I found it. So, okay. Leavenworth County Attorney, 2019 budget proposal. Did you just want to hear our discussion, or you want to present a narrative first and see what our questions are?
You're the commissioners, whatever you choose.
Can we get that in the paper? That we are the commissioners? God, thank you, Todd.
Got a little more time left.
John always quotes accurate.
Can't wait to
God, I
vote.
love it. Even though I disagree with you, you know, I like you. Yeah. So, you had a question, Bob? Or did
Well,
you want to listen to the narrative?
I'd like to listen to his narrative first.
Okay.
And then maybe he can, in his narrative, he might be able to answer some of the
Just go
questions.
ahead and ask the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be probably easier. I mean, you've read the presentation,
Right.
correct? Okay. So you're aware of what I'm going to say.
Right.
So go
Well,
ahead.
that's true.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I guess, I'll just go down how I marked them. Education and training.
Yes.
Last year's budget was $2,500. This year it's doubled, $5,000. Where did all these extra people come from that you're going to have to give education and training to? Have
Not
you
where,
got
the
more?
expenses have gone up.
The expense of the training has
Some
gone
of
up,
the trainings,
doubled?
for some effects, yes, they have. There's been a necessity for outside training that we need nationally because there's been a lot of issues that's come about with law enforcement as well as with prosecutors. And we want to make sure we're as fair, ethical, and just as we can possibly. And we want to make sure that not only are the victims and the witnesses' rights are being protected, but we want to make sure we're doing what's right by our suspects or our defendants. And so not only do we need a localized or state conversation, we also need to know the national conversation, because we don't want to be behind in this state, and I know that no one wants to be behind with Leavenworth County, so we're trying to be on the forefront, which this office is, the Leavenworth County Attorney's Office has always been on the forefront.
Now, what's this new program that you've just started, that instead of
Grand jury?
grand jury?
Yes.
The grand jury, is this really cost saving to the county?
Absolutely. It's cost savings. Some of the funds have to come from the county attorney's office. So the budget, the money will come from our office that might increase. Where the savings is to other offices such as the Sheriff's Department, Lansing Correctional Facility, as well as witnesses' fees that will come out of either our budget or from the district court that we would usually pay, as well, and I believe I said the Sheriff's Office with transportation of individuals or inmates. So because you see the money coming, an increase being requested within our budget, that doesn't mean that the big picture is not a cost savings. So I'll give you an example. Lansing Correctional Facility, we have to prosecute cases out of there. Contraband, batteries on staff members, or staff members trying to bring items in, even escapes on the rare cases that we get that. And using the grand jury process versus going through the prelim, we're saving the budget of having to transfer inmates not only from El Dorado, but from Lansing Correctional Facility. That's a lot of money to go back and forth to have them come for that initial court appearance. And we have that savings. Also, not only the budget for there, but you have to utilize the amount of people that are using to transport the inmates from one place to another. So you have to take that into consideration within the cost savings. So with that, you have transportation. Then you think about the witness fees. Sometimes we have to have 3 or 4 inmates coming, or staff people coming from that. That causes a problem. The warden, at least through his EAI unit, has expressed appreciation that we've been looking at taking cases from the grand jury, saving their people money, time, staff, as well as we have the same savings through the Sheriff's Department. So just because you see a small, amount being requested a little bit more within our budget, that does not mean that the overall savings is not happening to
So the savings actually is not coming through you, because that's what I was looking for, was the savings coming through you.
No, and I never expressed that.
It's not actually saving you anything. It's saving outside agencies the money.
Yeah, and their time and their energy. I can tell you that if you come up when we would have prelims going on, you could see a row full of either Lansing Correctional Facility workers, Sheriff's Department workers, Police Department, using their overtime, their hours where they're not on patrol, sitting there waiting to be heard for a prelim that could go from somewhere from 1 to 5 o'clock, and sometimes even beyond that. With the grand jury process, we're using one witness most of the time, and that we don't have to have 3, 4, 5 people just sitting there wasting, a wage for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours or so.
I'll jump down here. Witness fees and travel. You, in your narrative, you said that was going down. Can you explain how you're coming to that conclusion?
That the witness fees are coming down?
Right.
Well, we're not having to call as many witnesses through the grand jury. So instead of calling 5 witnesses, we're calling maybe 1.
1.
So,
Okay.
But, in recent history, we just, in a murder trial we just had, we had to fly someone in from Washington, D.C. and be able to have that. Some of our expert costs have cost that for some other.
But actually, it's not gone down here.
Yes, and one of the things that we decreased if you're looking at the amended budget, is you're looking at a decrease. The statute Shawnee County and through the Kansas County and District Attorneys Association has requested that we no longer have to hire a court reporter to sit in.
Right, I read that in
We
there.
can just use a
And-
recording, so that saves us a considerable amount of money.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
considerable amount. I read that, and that has dropped that from whatever it was, see, the approved budget for 2018 was $1,500, and the proposed budget for 2019 is that a minus 5,750, or is that a plus 5,750?
It's a plus.
Yeah. So, actually, it's not going down, it went up.
Well, the request is, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what we're looking at is what we had done last year, where our costs were, and instead of trying to go under we're hoping to go under budget, but this is a realistic idea of what we had to use for travel expenses.
Okay. Let's see.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Mr. Thompson. It's kind of related to Bob's.
Okay.
Okay.
With the recent increases that this board approved for jury duty fees, is that going to affect your witness fees?
It does not. That is two different.
Well, I thought, I didn't know if you...
We fund the grand jury fees. The district court funds the jury.
How does them fees compare to what we just did on increasing?
Ours should not be nominal to theirs. Ours is different. Right now, we're calling one grand jury a month. That's generally, it's supposed to be 15 people, but it could be about 13 or so, and that's $10 an hour. That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I think the juries are being underpaid, and I think that's something
Right.
the district court says too. We would rather give them more money for their service. I mean, it's one of the
Right.
most civic acts that they can do, but I know that you guys are more worried about the dollar, so I'm trying to take that into consideration as well.
We didn't have any problems increasing the jury fees.
No, I'm just
All right.
making a statement that I've heard choice words about this is a year we're looking at savings, and
No, the year of the taxpayer. You want to get it?
I can't remember your.
Well, John hadn't put it in the paper. He keeps promising.
He's had too much other stuff to report on.
Yeah.
He'll get there. He'll
He'll get
get it.
So anyway,
That's all I had, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bob?
I
Finish.
You want to go ahead? I mean, I got more here.
Yeah.
There's just I went down and marked through all the expenditures that went up in cost. And I know, like mileage, it went up in cost, but you don't know exactly what you're going to, the mileage you're going to use and how much it's going to cost you. So I understand that.
and we'll get
that's
the
a
money
given.
back if we don't use it, and we're not trying. We've never tried to go over budget.
Okay.
And we've been as open as possible to what we spend.
You just made a statement that we always give back, but you don't have to give back, do you?
Our budget goes back to the general fund. Our diversion funds go to the general fund.
But you don't have to give it back as an elected official. Once we approve your budget.
Well, no, they're
No,
supposed
anything
to.
excess comes back to the.
Well, yeah, in excess, but you can spend it before it's considered excess.
Well, I'm not just spending money to spend money.
I know
mean,
that. I didn't say you were, but it has been done in the past, hasn't it, by department heads? And we have found out that individually, our elected officials, once we approve their budget, they can do anything they want with it. And we don't have a say-so. Now, at the end of the year, yes, you give back.
I can't speak about what other department heads or elected officials.
That's very
I
good.
have a lot of good trust in
But you
what they
did
have, but.
You did admit that we were county commissioners, and I thought that was good, but we'll let Bob go ahead.
This one here, I put interesting. This one is the travel expense. It went from $3,000 in 2018 to $7,500 in 2019. Are we going to Hawaii or something?
No, we've never gone to Hawaii.
Just
Do you have a professional here that we need to have identified who she is?
Oh, this is Miss Tice, this is my office manager.
Oh, okay.
She was just showing
Tice, okay, very good.
Nancy Tice.
Nancy Tice, I was just wanting to,
You're just trying to embarrass her is all you're doing.
No, so what we're going off is what we used last year for travel expenses with witnesses' fees and things such. We've actually had to fly someone in just last week, or was it 2 weeks? The trial went for 2 weeks. We had to fly in a witness from DC to stay for a day. That costs money. We have to, and I'm not going to risk justice for what we believe we can bring witnesses in. So if it costs money to fly people. But,
Oh, yeah.
And again, if we stay under that amount, the money comes back to the county. But I just would rather not, and I'm trying to go off of what we had for our last year's budget.
I guess,
Or last year's expense.
I guess,
But no, we're not traveling excessively. We're not traveling
Yeah.
on vacation. We're not using any money.
no,
You guys
I
get
was
every
just
bit of
making
receipt.
light of that. What I'm,
I don't want it misquoted. We're being audio taped, and John's taking furious notes. I don't want to come out that I'm, not
I
here,
guess-
not doing what we're supposed to do.
I guess what I'm interested in is that the amount that it went up from 3,000 to 7,500.
That's more a safe measure than
Yeah. But can you, say you get halfway through the year and you find out that 7,500 is not going to cut it, you can come back to the commission and we can extend more money to that program.
Correct. My issue, when I come back to the county, we have an ethical guideline to keep things private, confidential, whatever, about our cases.
Right.
So basically, what I would come back over, I would tell you I need more money. You would say, why? I say, because we have to fly witnesses in. Can you tell me why those witnesses are necessary?
No, I
Can you
would
tell
want to
me
know
why you
that.
need to fly? No. So
If you say you're going to fly a witness in, that's all I need to know.
if I could take all three of your word on that, I would believe it. So,
Yeah.
but that's kind of, we look at what we need and then we ask you, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's the way we've worked before, so.
Okay. I got one more question, then I'll let you off the hook.
No, that's fine, Mr. Holland, as much as, or Commissioner Holland. I at
The
least didn't say Bob.
appeals process, pardon?
Well, I used three names for you. I didn't know which one you would prefer.
I don't care.
The
I've been called
appeals
lots.
process, the community is, basically, every time we go to trial, the defense is going to raise an appeal. It's just going to happen, no matter, as long as there's a guilty verdict. No one's going to be appeal acquittal, but
No, we're very aware of what,
we try not to, try not to have too many acquittals.
we're up
So,
over $1 million now.
So we,
You're right. I was going to announce that I have the figures here.
Yeah.
That it's $1,982.89 that we spent on the lawsuit.
Look at the front page today.
Yeah.
that
Okay.
has nothing to do with me, that's.
No, that
Yes,
has
it does.
nothing to do with you.
It does have
But-
something to do with you.
Well,
Well, because I'm a citizen of the community?
No, because, well, one thing, plus nobody in the community, including the judges, would take it, so we go out and hire.
All right, Louis, that's a whole nother speech. We're
No,
on my
that's
budget.
another speech, but it all adds up into the swamp of Leavenworth County,
Louis,
okay?
I'm not here for that. You
Well-
can pontificate about that on a later date. I'm going to talk
Pontificate,
about.
that is a very good way, very good word, you
I
know?
think you used it earlier when you were pontificating about me, so I'm going to stick to
I
this and
appreciate
not
that, but it is part of the process of budgeting.
So the appeals process is, we've been receiving a lot more appeals. In fact, the Attorney General's office has made a request to all the counties within the state to let them do the appeals, but the amount they've been requesting is a lot higher than what we do ourselves, much less my attorneys prefer to do their own appeals because it's a little bit of an education process and something they like to be able to read and write.
well, and they
So-
would know more about the case,
Exactly.
okay,
So
I see that.
So I mean, I could easily say Attorney General give that. I would come back here, tell you the Attorney General wants X amount of dollars for doing the appeals that we do, and you'd be like, well, that's 2 times or
Right.
a third higher than what we're paying you guys now. And I said, no, and my attorneys enjoy doing appeals, so.
Okay, well, thank you, Todd. That's all the questions I have. I don't know.
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes, sir.
You sure? I'm going to say
Bob's asked a
something.
lot of questions.
Okay.
I didn't mean to take up all of
That's fine, because they're the same questions we probably would have
Yeah.
had, Commissioner.
Do you have your own pay plan?
Do I have my own what?
Do you have your own pay plan
We, for the staff, we follow the pay plan of the county.
for the staff?
Yes.
What do you do for the attorneys?
I think we follow, actually, everybody follows the pay plan through the county. I mean, we use the pay plan numbers.
Okay. So you do not have, the question was, do you have your own pay plan?
No, we follow what the county guidelines are for the pay plan.
Okay. And you did admit we are the county commission.
Well, I'm beginning to question it at this point.
That's good. You question it as far as you want. You got 5 months and 30 days. And then who you question next. Hopefully, they won't fall back. And it's not necessarily your department. It's the county. The county has fallen into, your budget went up personnel up 19,000, and I know that's the 1.4 and the 2%. Your total contractuals went up 22.
Our
22,000.
contractuals went up 13,250, and then the commodities went up 10.
Well, I have your total contractual went up 22.5.
That's not accurate.
Well, 71,930 subtract 58,680, or what that comes to. 0.5. It went up, okay? So we don't get down it.
Yeah, but that's a substantial difference.
Yeah.
It's not what, it's only 13,250.
Well, give me a computer. Let's get the actual figure.
Yeah, 2,500, 500, 300, 4,500, 4,250, and 1,200, and not that I'm math major, I trust Ms. Tyson. 13,250. Regardless.
Yeah, you're right. Run with that. You-
He said you're right.
I know.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think that's a good thing
John,
when.
can you put that in the newspaper?
yeah, you can put it in the newspaper. I
No,
give
don't
a
ruin my
rat's.
reputation by having Louis say something nice about me.
I say a lot of things nice about you.
I know you do.
Your commodities went up 10 grand.
Yes, sir.
Capital outlay went up, stayed same. In the overall budget, I'd have to subtract that extra amount I had in there, so it didn't go up 42. You're going to have to take off about 9 grand off of that, so it went up about 30 something. Is that true? Yeah.
42,50. To be exact.
Administration have anything to say? Are you all done?
No, I think Bob probably asked more questions than I even would have asked, so I think that
But
was,
he was able to do that. I had, how many, 48 budgets that I didn't get to ask a question on? I had numerous line items, but that was all right. I can live with that. You want to do a motion to approve? Would you come over more often, though?
Anytime you want me to.
Yeah.
I enjoy this. At least you're talking about me
Motion
in
for
my
this?
face. and
No.
not, like,
I never talk about you, but never.
we haven't officially
Anybody that's ever
approved
told you that I
anybody's
talk
budget.
about you, I do not talk about people. That's what's wrong with the world today.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, vote, please.
Well,
Mis- Well,
we
Mr.
don't
Chairman,
need to
I don't
vote.
think we've approved anybody's budget yet.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make him
Of a
feel
consensus?
that this is a consensus.
Well, then
It's a
it's a
consensus
consensus.
that we're
Can you
gonna
handle
approve
that?
it.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, you come back again now.
All right.
And Nancy, we'd like to see you
Okay.
anytime, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, anything else that staff has?
No, sir.
How about you, Douglas?
Are we going to have any sewer district hearings? You know, we had a question on that one.
The,
Which one?
The one they're increasing the assessments on?
if it increases the assessment, it's, I think, is that sewer district one?
Mr. Chairman, members of this commission, if the board changes the annual assessment for debt obligations for any sewer district, Commissioner Holland, you're familiar with this from sewer district number, an unnamed sewer district.
Right, I know what you're talking about. I've been,
Then you need to provide mailed notice, publication, and conduct a public hearing on that.
See, sewer district 1, I believe we were
I think
increasing.
it's sewer district one for a study on
Right.
feasibility to connect to Lansing.
Right.
That'd be the only one. And
Okay.
the staff is aware that if that is the direction that they're going to go, that will require public hearing.
Has
Okay.
anybody talked to those owners in there? Because
If we're going to do that, we will have to send them, each
Because-
one of them, a notification. And
Yeah, but the rumors create more problems than,
they have to be notified and so they can come
Yes.
to the meeting.
Yes, we would have to send each of them specifically a
Mhm.
notice of the hearing.
And then any of the other sewer districts could just come to our budget meetings if they had concerns?
but, see, people are calling me, why are we getting brought into the city of Lansing? See, the rumors, there's nothing worse than rumors, unless it's talking about somebody behind their back.
Okay. All right. Also, y'all got your deal from the Tonga Historical Society showing the work you
Y'all?
got done?
Yeah.
That's right.
Y'all,
That's right.
you're from
Oh.
Southern Leavenworth.
I am Southern Leavenworth County.
Love it.
Did you?
I
Yes,
read
you
it.
did.
Yeah.
Got that.
And that's exactly what this board wants, is that correct?
Well,
To see the work being done and completed and.
yes, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I like when they put the windows in,
Uh-huh.
I'd like to go down and see the windows. I mean, yeah, you can go too, David.
And I'd went Saturday before last to Tonganoxie's going to open up a new youth center.
Very good.
It's not run by the city, it's going to be a private deal or.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Had a very generous donor donate a building. There's some funds being raised and looks like a really good thing for the city of Tonganoxie youth. And it's going to have, some support from the churches and that too.
So it was private.
Well, it's being set up right now. Right now, it's being run through the Cornerstone Church.
Okay.
And it's going to be turned over, so it's not affiliated with the church. But it's going to have a lot of the church's support.
You mean it's going to be turned over to the city or?
No,
No,
it's
see,
to
that's
another,
what-
See, that's what I don't want.
Yeah, that's what
no, it
I'm
won't be
getting
turned
at.
over to the city,
Yeah,
from what I understand. So
we could do
it'll-
that with codes and zoning, couldn't we?
Right, yeah, we could. But anyway, it's a really good thing that Tonganoxie's is moving
Yeah.
forward on, something
I
for
like
the
it.
youth. Also went to the candidate forum at the VFW for the
Okay.
representatives. That was a large turnout for that. It was a good deal.
Was it just for the representatives?
Yes, or anything.
I wonder why that was.
I don't know.
That's
Because
why-
there's nobody down there running for county commissioner in that area. Tonganoxie VFW post.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a
Well, we
good
don't
turnout.
know that.
Well, we haven't voted yet.
When we get to.
And I don't know,
Redistricting.
we might. But anyway, Baser, I don't know if anybody has seen this, that Baser's put out. It's a
I haven't.
really, in the notice, Representative Dove and myself are in there.
You're in there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my gosh, I want to read it.
It was at the grand opening of their senior housing deal.
That's quite a building.
It is. It's a really good fit for that community. But
I've heard a lot of feedback.
It's really
on that
nice. It's
that's
really nice.
high on it.
yeah. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got. And Linwood Lions Club's having their barbecue Saturday from 4 to 7 down there at the community building, which we have just approved funding for next year.
Possible funding. We don't know. what-
Possible, that's right. We have not approved any budget
Yeah.
yet, so, but we're
But
still
that's
at the reduction of 1/4 of a mil
Gotta have the
with all
quarter.
that, so we're heading in the right direction for the year of the taxpayer.
That's right.
That's all I have, Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
I've spoken enough.
No, you haven't.
I haven't?
I like to hear you
It's
talk,
not
Bob.
lunchtime yet, Bob.
You bring forth a knowledge that some of us may have forgotten. Don't forget to get in the paper, John, that we like you, okay? We set the districts. Right up here.
Right.
We work with the clerk to set the districts.
Yes, but we set them, we okay
Right,
them.
we set them, but we
Yeah.
still have to work with the clerk because we have
But
to
we can
get
give inputs.
Mr. Chairman, these districts will be very temporary because we have another census in 2020 and we have to redistrict by 2021.
That is true.
So,
Now we're gonna get into this hard game of moving and moving and moving. And like, I thought it was interesting when, years ago, I was kept out of a district. It's called gerrymandering.
Oh, you heard of that?
Yeah.
I have too.
And I was kept out of that district because that individual who was commissioner thought I was gonna run. All he had to do is come up and say, "Lou, you gonna run?" I would say, "No, I'm not gonna run." So we set the districts once we get them drawn out by the clerk. And as you say, they will be redone. And
will we be doing that before the election?
No,
So,
That's only
I think
after
we
the
have to
election.
have it official before we can do that.
okay.
we'll be doing it, when will the election be?
I believe you have 60
November.
days
January?
from the election.
November.
No, I mean for the,
5? Oh, you mean if it passes,
yes.
will there be an election or will it be appointed by the precinct committee?
Well, there will be an election. The candidates will be appointed by the precinct committeeman, but each party will get to
Okay,
put a candidate forward.
okay.
So, yes, David, you were given a sign there. I don't know what.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, were the ballot question to be approved by the majority of the electorate, you would have until December 31st to apportion the county into 5 districts that are as compact and equal in population as can be done fairly. If you failed to do so by December 31st, then that responsibility devolves to the chief judge of the first judicial district, who is required by law to effect that before the end of January.
But he could say he's got a conflict of interest and go to Topeka, couldn't he?
Mr. Chairman, the what-ifs can
Yeah.
boggle the mind.
Well, no, it doesn't boggle my mind. It could happen.
You would have approximately 60 days after the election to study and make the division.
It'll be easy. Yeah, shouldn't be difficult. A lot of people won't be happy, some will be.
We already kind of have a rough draft of where they'll be.
Yeah, I think I have it added to the folder. Okay. What is this one here?
That's
What's
been approved.
That's been approved, hasn't it? But we do have another one.
I think Mr. Lawfrey said they're all approved.
They're all approved?
Now, any of them that come in will be added to the
Check register.
check register. The
Okay.
one that just came in is not on this.
Oh, okay.
It's not on there, so we can just throw that away, that 11,000, okay. Anything else? Oh, and next week, we will have the sheriff's proposal we're gonna look at that came from the city of was to go to Baser for their very logical process, which they decided they didn't want to save $900,000, and I can understand that. What do you want to save?
You can't understand that?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you could. I thought, how do you understand not saving $900,000?
They did it over in Riley County, they've done it in Johnson County, but I can't understand it. It's just money. Hey, not, so, and the other thing we're gonna have is the sheriff's What did we ever decide on, you gentlemen were going to study whether we wanted to get unfilled positions under control?
Whenever.
That was to be an agenda item, and that'll be on next week.
That'll be on next week?
17th also.
Okay. I think it's very important when you're talking about, you add the fuel in, salaries, and there's $1 million out there floating around that somebody can spend any way they want to. So, anything else?
I don't know if either two of you thought about our night meetings the same night as the Leavenworth County Fair Parade. That,
Well, we just don't have a meeting on that day.
you want to move it to a different day that week, or do you want to just go ahead and do it, or?
Your choice.
Just, what's the conflict?
The Leavenworth County Fair Parade is that night
Oh.
for our night meeting.
Uh,
So,
Well, Louis
whatever
and
you
I-
two think.
Louis and I can have the meeting, and
Yeah.
you can go to the parade.
Because we don't, neither one, you're not running again, are you?
No,
I'm not running again.
I'm not running this year.
Well, but it'd be nice for them to see you.
Being as it's my district?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and that you are
Well,
concerned.
I would hate to see an article show up in the paper that Doug Smith didn't go to the Leavenworth County Parade, and it's his district. I mean, because it's very possible that could happen.
Just look how many articles here that I didn't even bring up.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Where somebody questions through their great knowledge of having been to every meeting.
See, this could backfire. I could be shirking my responsibility of going to a meeting just to go to a parade. See, this is not a win-win situation.
I know it.
So,
I still love you.
but I'll be at the parade.
Good. I'd keep it to a mild agenda, will you?
Will do.
And we'll go ahead and have it. And there won't be anybody here. They'll all be at the parade.
Mr. Berry will be gone.
Yeah?
Mr. Hempel will be gone. So, yeah, you won't have anybody here.
Except Bob and I and Mark and John. John will be here. Okay.
no, John will be down at the parade.
John will be down at the parade taking pictures.
Yeah.
Or he'll be at the Leavenworth City.
It's county parade, so John will be there.
That's good. Okay.
Can we change the day of the meeting?
No,
Monday?
we're micromanaging. So, micromanaging, Jesus.
I've missed one meeting since I've been here.
You know, I haven't missed one.
I know. I've only missed one.
When we vote to increase the pay for the county commissioners, are you going to want to change and have another date added? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to remove ourselves from this premise.
I second that motion.
Okay. I guess you're making the motion.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
The county
How do you vote?
counselor wanted us to clarify that to make sure you didn't mean permanently remove yourselves from this.
I don't care. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid of dying. I'm just afraid of death. I'll explain it to you, John. I want my fishing hole, I want my favorite dogs, and I want an ice cream stand. Thank you. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.